You are listening to a very special episode of Granite Goodness, the show about optimism, progress, and problem solving all across New England, proudly hosted here in the Granite State. What you are about to hear is a recording of our very first ever Granite Goodness live show. We brought together 4 extraordinary panelists, all former guests of the podcast, and recorded our conversation in front of a live audience of over 100 people. Joining us was Corinne Benfield, Executive Director of Stay Work Play New Hampshire, where she advances opportunity and advocacy for young professionals in the Granite State. Mike Skelton, President and CEO of the Business and Industry Association of New Hampshire, our statewide Chamber of Commerce and the leading advocate for the needs of New Hampshire businesses large and small. The BIA also heads the New Hampshire Housing Supply Coalition. We also had Steve Turner and Shayna Brunier from Bring Back the Trades. Steve is their founder and Shayna, their Chief Operations Officer. Together, they empower the next generation of skilled tradespeople by advocating for trade careers, educating parents, facilitating mentorship with professionals, and providing scholarships. We were also joined on stage by my friends, the local indie folk sensation hailing from Newmarket, New Hampshire, Sneaky Miles, whose music opens every episode of Granite Goodness. Thank you, Kevin, Pat, and Jake, for bringing your magic and your mojo. Big thank you as well to the Rex Theater in Manchester, New Hampshire. This event truly was the brainchild of Warren O'Reilly and Lisa Neville, who helped make this so easy and fun for me. I can't thank you both enough, and I look forward to coming back to the Rex again. I also want to give an enormous thank you to our generous presenting sponsor for the evening, Grapponi Automotive. The fact that we have such a beautiful video recording and amazing professional pictures and awesome musicians involved, I have them to thank for all that and for their ongoing and enthusiastic support of Granite Goodness. Lastly, I want to thank everyone who showed up. The crowd was awesome and I had the time of my life, which I hope you'll be able to tell by listening to this episode, the first of many Granite Goodness live shows. I hope you enjoy it.
How's everybody doing? We're happy to be here, spending the night with Granite Goodness. In case you're wondering who we are, it's our song that plays at the start of every episode. So, Andy's one request is for his first live show, we would do a live version of that song. Little Susie's in the park with the boys after dark. Sticks and stones, stripping bark, setting fire, shooting sparks. Now the mothers call their sons to come home, but no one calls little Susie, now she's left all alone. 'Cause Susie's house is not a home. Little Johnny's at the station while they take his information. Caught him in a state of desperation when starvation beat his patience. How'd you like us to tell your father what you've done? Johnny told him he'd only ask why he didn't run. Taught him better than to be so dumb, just like his father, like his son. Oh, mother, are you afraid of what I've become? Oh, father, do I remind you of anyone? Oh, mother, are you afraid of what I've become? Oh, father, do I remind you of anyone? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Susie, where are you going now? Grab your shoes, babe, and you are blowing town. Go ahead and break your bread, you need to leave the crumbs behind this time. All those memories you kept inside your house. You grab the gasoline and then we'll burn it down. Oh, mother, are you afraid of what I become? Oh, Father, do I remind you of anyone? Oh, mother, are you afraid of what I've become? Oh, Father, do I remind you of anyone? Thank you so much, everybody.
That was a reference to TEDx for the people who were there. All right. Is this thing on? Let's hear it for Sneaky Miles. Wow. Thank you, guys. The last time that I shared a stage with Sneaky Miles, I was in, someone they already know, what is probably the third, second, possibly first worst punk band in all of New Hampshire, possibly all New England. Love Canal, if anyone remembers those days. Yeah, thank you, our greatest fan. Thanks for coming. We got an amazing show here tonight for everybody. Welcome, ladies, gents, germs, gentiles, geriatrics, and jellyfish, to the very first live recording of Granite Goodness. Yeah, here at the Rex Theater. I could not be more excited. Thank you all for coming. Before we get started, how many of you are here because my mom made you come here? You can raise your hands. I'm genuinely curious. Okay. That's at least half of you. Yeah, she's here tonight. Excellent, excellent. We got a great show for you tonight. We're going to get right to it, but I want to take a moment to talk a little bit about Pandora's box. Really. This is a phrase, it's a myth that we're all familiar with. It's often invoked as a kind of cautionary tale, an example of don't be too curious, don't take a risk. It could lead to some unexpected problem later on. And the story, as it's commonly told, goes something like this. Prometheus, the Titan, he steals fire from the gods, and he gifts it to humanity, and the gods don't like that. Zeus is like, we have to cancel Prometheus. It's no good. It's not good. We have to punish them. They punish Prometheus, and then he decides we have to level set with the humans. We have to, make their lives harder in some way because they can't have fire. So he hatches this crazy plan. He takes all the evil in the world, and he puts it into a jar. In the original translation, it's a jar. It's not a box. They didn't have Amazon back then. And then he also creates the first human woman, Pandora. And he imbues her with a sense of curiosity. And then he gives her the jar, and he says, don't open this. She opens the jar, right? We all know this part. Because that's what we do. We're humans. We open the box, we open the thing, we look. We always do. And then out flies all the bad stuff. Famine, pestilence, war, season 7 of Game of Thrones, a couple seasons of Survivor, Secret Wives of Mormon Wives. All the bad stuff just comes flying out. And there goes the story, right? Don't be curious, don't take a risk, don't do it. But there's a critical detail that people often omit when they tell this story, which I think changes the whole thing. So what they don't often mention is that Zeus didn't just put all the evil into the jar. He actually put also the spirit and essence of hope inside of it. And when Pandora opens the box, she lets out all the evil, but when she realizes what's happening, she shuts it as quick as she can, and she does it soon enough so that hope doesn't escape. It remains inside, in her possession, in the possession of all humanity for all time to come, which is pretty good. So that's all that we're trying to do here tonight. That's all I'm trying to do with Granite Goodness, to find these amazing, disparate people who are making our little corner of the world better in some way, and to bring them together under a unified, optimistic voice. So thanks for listening. Really. It means a lot. Yeah. I also, while I have this opportunity, I want to take a moment, so Pandora, right, in Greek mythology is the first human woman to ever exist. And she gets a lot of flack for what she did. I think we should re-examine this, because it's not hard to imagine, like, there's an alternative version of this myth where it's a guy instead. Maybe his name is Pandoro or something. And you can, like, he gets the jar from Zeus, and he's just like, let it rip, Socrates, like, just, like, whatever. And he doesn't try and shut it. It's not a big deal. He probably would try and put on a blender, make a protein shake out of it, all that ugly stuff. Maybe that's where the Greek word macro comes from. Who knows? Anyway. Speaking of mythical human woman, my wife is out here somewhere. Where is she? Yeah, there she is. Excellent. Thanks, Jess. Hey, by the way, I say this every time she did the logo, the thumb up. I said, give me the old man on the mountain, grinning with sunglasses, giving a thumbs up, and just like first try, she just nailed it. Yeah. It's so good. I could be happier with it. Anyway, there's another mythical human woman who I'm very excited to introduce you to. Do you guys want to meet my co-host for tonight? Yeah, let's bring her out here. Corinne, where are you? Where are you, Corinne Benfield? Get out here.
You were just, is this thing on?
We're on?
Andy, you were just trying to repay the favor of platforming me in the way that we platformed you as our Stay Work Play Young Person of the Year.
Oh, stop.
So I also demur. Thank
God.
you.
That's right. Yeah, I love it. Corinne, are you excited to be here tonight?
Can I say this? Hell yeah. Of course I am. I'm so excited.
We're live. You can say whatever you want.
Well, okay.
No one knows what's going to happen.
Don't quote me on that, but
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I couldn't be happier to have you here. I'm a big fan of Stay Work Play. We had a lot of great people here. I think we should take a moment to bring up one other mythical human woman. Amanda Grapponi, are you here in the room with us?
Woo!
Tonight is very generously sponsored and presented to you by Grapponi Automotive, our good friends, who is also a Granite Goodness alum. Amanda, thanks for being here. Thanks for helping all this happen.
Short people up front, so here I am. Wow, you're like blindingly awesome, Andy, is what's happening.
I can't see anyone. I have no idea what's happening.
Are there people out there? I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity, because when you called and said, hey, do you want to talk about trying to do something together in form of a sponsorship? And I was like, what? Because that's, Andy, he calls and you just say, what do you need, friend? And then good things happen. So yeah, we're very proud to sponsor this evening, and especially so because some of the people on the panel have become real close friends of mine through the whole Bring Back the Trades effort, and I'm sure you'll hear lots more about that tonight. But just like the New Hampshire way, one phone call, one yes, and all of this. So thank you all for being here, and we're very happy to sponsor.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
All right. Corinne, who do we have here with us?
Oh my goodness, we have
I think we should bring him
a
out.
vibrant cast.
Yeah, we do. I think we got Steve Turner from Bring Back the Trades, Shayna Brunyang from Bring Back the Trades. Oh my gosh, in the flesh. Unbelievable.
Whoop, whoop.
And then we also have, yeah. Oh yeah, actually this is what we were talking about this earlier. Yeah, sit wherever you like. I think I should sit here and you should sit here.
Great, love that.
And then we have a very warm seat. So, you all know, originally, we were going to have Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander join us tonight. She is detained by important government business. She made a very nice video for us this morning. Thank you very much. Now I have an IOU from a congressperson, which is pretty cool, actually. It's kind of working out. So, not in her place, but in a wonderful and complimentary way, in some ways I'm happier, we have the very illustrious, who did we get? Because it's all you. We got coffee, and I was like, what do we do? She dropped out. What's going to happen? You stepped in. You made the
I
big
stepped
you made the
in.
big ask.
I was
and
like,
you did.
okay, Hail Mary. Let's see if he's available. But he's the closer.
He's here with us tonight.
He's here with us. He made time in his schedule. No. Ultimately, Mike Skelton, who is our incredible next panelist, jumped at the opportunity to be here with us today and is an incredible
Let's bring him
partner.
Yeah.
And thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. All right. Yeah, so clear. We have a stacked cast here tonight. Unbelievable. Oh, y'all got these little water bottles here? Oh, yes. You should take them. You should just uncork them now. Because this is gonna get thirsty really fast.
It's going to be a nice night of yapping. So.
Excellent. Phew. Yeah. So, we're gonna chat for a little while, and then we're gonna do some Q&A. You know, I hope you have some burning questions. But what's fun about the way that it's worked out this way is the four of you kind of know each other pretty well, actually. Like, you two know each other well, you two know each other well, you work with each other a lot. So most people know who you are, but I'm gonna have each of you introduce the ones that you know well, right? And Shayna, we're gonna, because I can tell you're giddy, you can't wait to get started. Shayna, who is Steve Turner? Like, what's going on with him? What was your first impression of Steve?
Be nice.
Nobody said I had to be nice. So I met Steve in his shop, which, if most of you may know, he's an upholsterer by trade. And I was seeking some advice for supporting some technicians who were interested in becoming plumbers. And so I came to talk to him. And then I said, what can I do to help bring back the trades? And he had a vision, had some great ideas on what he wanted to do. And I realized right away that he was somebody who was going to really, he was at the tip of the iceberg of this movement. And he knew how to connect really good people. And he just needed more resources and more good people behind him. And I started volunteering and then was hired full time, and the rest is history. So I think working with Steve has been great so far, but I'm not ready to kill him.
No, I know. Well, yeah, don't you dare.
Kidding, come on. I had to say something.
If you have an airing of the grievances, this is the time to do it.
Oh, wow.
If you have I've seen you two work together, in a good capacity, but I'm always curious how it's going. Steve, how's it going on your end? Are you enjoying working with Shayna?
Absolutely. So the true story is, so she came into my shop, and she says, I want to maybe become a sponsor and get a scholarship. And she said to me that day, what do you need? And I said, I've got this Mike Rowe event going. If it's going to be a success as much as I think it's going to be, when it's over, I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know how to get from here to there. And the weirdest thing is, she is now taking me from here to there.
Yeah.
She, I'm the visionary person. I'm a hard worker. But she makes up for all the things that I can't do. So we work really strong together because where I lack, she's strong.
And vice versa.
Vice versa, yes. She helps me more than I can explain to people. I mean, it's amazing. We've been working together since December officially, but November, I think, is when we really started. What we pulled off by March or April is incredible. And I owe a lot to Shayna. So if that answers your question, I'm very happy with working with her.
Yeah. No, she's one of a kind. And funny mention, so we were actually together not so long ago. Where were we? Gillette Stadium, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. You had put together this absolutely incredible event, which I want to get more into later. But there's some other people up here with us. Corinne,
Yes.
who's that gentleman over there?
I have thought long and hard about this. When I saw this in my email, I was like, oh, God, this is such a hard prompt. Define Mike Skelton. How do you do that? Well, Mike is the CEO of the Business and Industry Association of New Hampshire, which is New Hampshire's Chamber of Commerce and Manufacturing Association. So they are a super connected and really key part of our state. Not to offend anybody, but they had a glow up when Mike stepped on board. Mike also was one of my first bosses, so we go way back. He hired me at the Greater Manchester Chamber, and I can't say enough about how cool Mike is. I learned how to be graceful under pressure in watching him and just like one little eye flicker be the only thing that he lets loose when under pressure or like somebody's being annoying. You know, he doesn't crack. So definitely like the blueprint, I would say, for leadership incarnate. I didn't prep that. That's all off the cuff. So, you know, take it for what
It's
you will.
all in
but
the eyes.
yeah. So we're super excited to have Mike here. When we thought about like who could replace Congresswoman Goodlander? First person to come to mind. So he's gonna rise to the occasion, I tell you. And Andy, when he asked us to kind of think about these intros, he prepped me by saying, we're about to get skeletoned. What does that mean? And so let me tell you what that means.
It's not clear.
Mike can talk about anything. So we're gonna go like here, there, and nowhere in this conversation, but I'm gonna tell you, like he's an expert in all of the things. So we're in for a really great conversation. And if there's a topic that he's not an expert in, I'm telling you, like 5 seconds, you're gonna believe that he is. So just roll with it.
It's all in the eyes.
This is an enormous amount of pressure. Like, I am being totally sabotaged here.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for
Bait
it.
and switch.
I'm suddenly reinterpreting every look that you've ever given me. I'm like, oh, maybe he's doing something with the eyebrow. I don't know what is going on. Anyway.
You can't define it.
No,
You can't define it.
It's
you have to look really closely.
You just have to feel it.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, this is your moment. Why does everyone like Corinne so much? Like, what's going on?
Well, I'll start with the reason I'm up here. I accepted this invitation sight unseen because Corinne asked. I had no idea what it was, and she gave me scant details.
That's true. That is very true.
So when I walked in tonight, I saw 2 couches on the stage. I was like, what are we doing here? But Corinne is the coolest person in New Hampshire these days.
Yeah.
I
would
mean,
agree.
she's
Oh, yeah. No.
leading now.
No.
And she, I mean, you were at the Stay Work Play event
I was
the
there.
other day. I mean, that was like the
You were
coolest event I've ever been to.
Yeah.
I stuck out sorely. It was not cool enough to be in that room, but that was such a generous introduction by Corinne. And for everybody here who has been a part of teams or built teams through their career, you know, I know as like a manager, like the thing that makes you most proud is the people you get to work with and the teams that you build. And over my career, Corinne's been just one of the most outstanding individuals I've had the pleasure to work with. And such a hard worker, so creative and thoughtful. And there's no better testament to it than the rocket ship that is Stay Work Play over the last year.
Yeah.
And has just completely leveled up
Thank you.
that organization. And it is not a surprise to me. And I just am so excited for the future because we are at this really important moment in New Hampshire where we need an advocate for the future, for young people. And that's the key to our prosperity. And I'm sure we're going to get into that about, you know, what's the future of New Hampshire look like and what do we need and, you know, what are the important trends and issues. And having someone like Corinne at the helm of Stay Work Play is just so critical, and it means a lot to me personally, and one of the reasons that I'm so proud to be associated with her and a fan of the organization is that I was I was in the second class of board members for Stay Work Play like a bazillion years ago when it was founded, and the mission then is it's even more important than it is today. It's more important today than it was then, and it's so awesome to see the organization still thriving, but going to a completely different level. And that's all due to Corinne and her leadership.
Yeah. I love it.
Mic drop. We good now? We can wrap it up.
Well, what is
That's
it?
why we
I
came
also
here,
have
right?
to say,
else is
too,
there to
like,
say?
like Maggie Goodlander to Mike is like downgrade of the year. So it's like
no.
we have to just get that out on the table.
There's actually a
So-
wig under your cushion, so you know, we'll see. We might do. You know, you asked how this night's going to go, and you didn't know. You really don't know what we have prepared for you.
Eject button.
Yeah. Let's just 3 words: stay, work, play. But we have to convince you to stay first. Exactly. Mike is also an Eagle Scout, by the way, right? What is it? We got some of that going on. We got some Eagles out there. Yeah. So you feel like this might be an opportunity to, we're going to have you tying knots. We're going to have you, you know, shooting bows and arrows.
Yeah.
You know,
No magician, but
this
we'll
is
have knots.
this is the handy couch. I'm realizing it now. This is all the tradespeople.
I'm on the wrong couch then.
Man, I love it. Okay, let's get into it. Like, you're all here for a reason. Granite Goodness is supposed to be about finding reasons to be optimistic about the state of the world, the state of our little corner of it that you don't really hear about in other places. You all have a really, actually, while I'm thinking about this, you don't have to turn off your phone. Like, I'd prefer if you're all present here, like that'd be great because you'll have a better time. But if you want to take pictures and stuff, maybe try not to flash because we're having a nice recording. But, you know, we're on Instagram at Granite Goodness. Take all the pictures you want. We want people to be like, oh, I was there, happy, happy. So, you know, enjoy yourselves, but please don't have your phone ring.
And tag us.
And tag, yeah, BBTT, all these people are on Instagram. But yeah, like, there's such a crazy intersection here. How do we get people to stay where we play New Hampshire? How do we get people to bring back the trades? And how do we get businesses to be excited about all the things going on? You're all here for a particular reason, and you thought it was important to come and bring an optimistic vision and perspective to the work that you do. So, put another way, what are you doing here? Like, what do you know that you think all these people need to know about?
Well, you talk about community, right? That's why we're here. And, you know, the story behind Bring Back the Trades, where it started, where it came from, where it's going, where it's been built, is all community. The whole story of how Bring Back the Trades was founded, it was built by the community. I woke up on August 17th with an idea to put Bring Back the Trades on a hat, but the community took off. The whole thing was built by people. So I woke up with the idea, created a hat, was wearing it. My friend comes by, he's a builder, builds houses in Rye. He says, where'd you get the hat? I said, I made it. He goes, get me 12 of them. I said, why? He's like, I've been talking about this forever. I give him 12 of them. The next week, his plumber comes by, says, I love the hat. Can you change out the logo? Put a plumbing logo in there. Another week, his electrician comes by. So community, 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 that's how Bring Back the Trades got built, was by people. So that's why it's so important for us to keep going, because it's all built on community. The scholarships we give out, the networking, the sponsorships, it's all built by community.
And you think of that experience, right? Like, because the first time that you did any kind of, you know, trade expo, you brought people together. Like, so again, so we were there at Gillette Stadium. You know, they asked me to come MC their event. Thousands of people showed up. This is the big. I'd never been there, by the way. It's like a literal coliseum. It's like bigger than God. Like, you can't even imagine it. And they all came for you two. They came for the work that you're doing. And Kennedy, where's Kennedy? Is she over here? Yes. Hey, thanks, Kennedy.
She's out there somewhere.
She's also on the BBTT team. Wonderful. But they all came to bring back the trades, right? And so, like, that trajectory of, you know, the first time that you did it in like a parking lot. There's a couple people there, and now thousands of people see the value in what you're doing. How does that feel?
It feels, you know, I was telling Shane out back there, you know, if I could turn the clock back in 2017 and sitting at my desk and see what is happening tonight, it would be unbelievable. Because, you know, there's ups and downs of when you're building something, you know, to see all the people in front of me wanting to actually learn about this. It's an honor. I mean, it makes me feel good. But the biggest thing about our events, what makes me happy, and I know what makes Shana happy, is it's not the people, it is the people that come to our events, but the people that are showing up, the vendors, we get to showcase what they do. Nobody gets to, I wouldn't say nobody, but your plumber comes into your house. You don't get to see what he does. When you're driving by and you're seeing somebody paving, you just drive by. We're showcasing, we're putting the men and women that keep our economy going on a stage so everybody can respect them. So that's the favorite part of my job, is to actually showcase what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also, just to step back for a second, the event started because Ben's Auto Body, right, locally here, said, I wish people could come into my shop and see how clean it is. It's not like a body shop used to be. You could eat off the floor. So that's what gave Steve the idea to begin doing the events. And then Amanda at Grapponi said, I want to bring Mike Rowe in because my business is turning 100. I want Mike Rowe to speak to my employees. And so she asked Steve, hey, is that a good idea? We could have them during the day for an event, for the school, bring the schools in, bring the kids in. And so it's really been this whole community effort, like Steve said, that's really kind of launched us into stardom. And when we see that spark of curiosity and interest in the students and the parents coming in, and then we show them the statistics that show that the phenomenal growth that's happening in the trades and the lucrative, viable career options that are there, and then you see the kids just like, wow, I think I could do that. Because the other problem we have is, when you talk about the trades, people think construction, plumbing, electrical. They don't necessarily think of paving. They don't think of HVAC. I mean, you want AC in here in the summer. You want the heat here in the winter. You need people that can do that type of work. And so we're helping to educate about all the different people behind the scenes. And to Steve's point, getting the spotlight on them gives them that sense of pride, because it is a hard job to work in the trades. We're not kidding anybody, by saying it's easy. It's not. You need to get out there. You need to work hard. But if you're smart, you work hard. It's a great path for entrepreneurship and for a successful career.
And before I go any further, I want to have a huge round of applause, because I didn't do this alone. My wife Sherry is out in the audience. My son Riley's out in the audience. And Tracy Pendleton's out in the office that helps me severely, and Amanda, and Chuck Lloyd's out there. So I want a huge round of applause for them, because I would not be sitting here if it wasn't for them helping me.
And Andy, if I could chime in on your question of, like, why are we here? Why are we optimistic? I think, like, this conversation is why. And this is, like, we sometimes take this for granted or overlook this here in New Hampshire, but it is unique that in this state, if a couple of people or a group of people have a vision about creating something that's going to make a difference, they can go out and do it. And Bring Back the Trades is a perfect example of that. And there's examples everywhere. Just a few weeks ago, we had our annual awards celebration for the BIA, and we honored another group, Swim with a Mission, that is out supporting and serving our veterans in New Hampshire. Again, two people got together, had an idea, Phil and Julie Taub, and they built this amazing organization and raised $1 million. Stay, Work, Play, founded by a group of individuals who came together now 10, 15 years ago at this point, the Young Professional Networks, and Granite Goodness. I mean, that was one guy's idea.
That's not quite a good comparison.
I think it's a good comparison, though. I mean, and I'll be honest, Andy. When I got your email in the spring, I let that sit in the inbox for a few days because I was like, "Granite Goodness, what is this? It's like, who is this guy? What is this podcast?" And then I think you nudged me again, and very nicely. And I went and looked at the website, and I think I saw Corinne on there, and I was like, well, now I got to do it. And I was like, not letting her get ahead of, she's like, the apprentice has to become the master yet, Corinne. All right, so
Debatable.
but yeah, that's true. But it's look what you've built, and my point is that all of these examples, don't assume that just happens anywhere. There really is something here that allows that to happen.
And I think it's important to also point out that I think one of the challenges we have in New Hampshire with so many young people leaving the state after high school is because they don't necessarily see all those things that are happening here at a younger age. It takes living in the community and being invested in the community and socially connected to start to see how many people are doing so many different things, and we've got to get that into the schools and help the kids see that more so they see themselves here in their future here more readily.
Yeah. You can applaud as much as you want. Everything Shana says is, I actually, whenever I speak to Shana, I do quiet applause because I'm like, man, you're so smart. That was a really touching story you told me about your inbox, Mike. I'm not even kidding. It's all in the eyes.
He was second choice. He was second choice too. I mean, come on.
I did. It only sat for like 3 days.
No, listen,
That's pretty good in skeleton time.
Marinated. Yeah, that's skeleton time. Exactly.
Hey, 3 days is good. It took me a year to get some of my sponsors, so.
Hey, So this is probably a bad time to mention. So Mike Rowe is under your couch right now. Should we bring him out or should we keep him in there? I think maybe Mike, you can stay down there. We got one Mike up here. He's great. He's doing well so far. You said you didn't know. He was like, oh man, I don't know I agreed to this Granite Goodness thing. We have all kinds of surprises for you. But no, seriously. But Corinne.
Yes.
Chime in here. This is your whole world, right?
I was like trying to find my moment.
This is it.
But you guys said it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes New Hampshire so special is exactly what Mike said, exactly what Shayna said, exactly what Steve said. And I think there's so much possibility here. We're a state of potential, and we're a state of folks that care. We talk a lot about how New Hampshire's identity is really tied up in this neighbors helping neighbors mentality. And, sometimes I think the media can make us forget that, or specifically like with young people coming into their own and looking at the landscape and seeing headlines that are telling them that they'll never be able to reach the milestones that define success. They're never going to be able to afford to live here. Like, it is detrimental because there is so much potential, and if you care, you can move the needle. And it's an intangible quality, but it's something that we need to continue to champion and share, and especially share with our young people who are contemplating whether or not New Hampshire is right for them, because there are other opportunities. And a wise man once said, we're in a 50-state competition for talent. And that was Mike Skelton. But we are, and we have neighbors to the south. We have neighbors that offer a different way of life than New Hampshire. And we just need to lean into what we do best. And I think what the Granite Goodness podcast does is champion that ethos so tremendously well. And it's like capturing lightning in a bottle with Andy. And I feel like it was kind of like, I knew this was your master plan, but it because it feels accidental, it feels authentic, which is also so New Hampshire.
That's exactly how it feels. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Man, this is like unbelievable. You guys, this is crazy. This is very flattering. Thank you all very much.
We'll love fest. It's good.
Yeah, it's all self-referential. This evening has been Greek enough already, so I'm not going to say the word incestuous, but cross-pollinated is what this little environment is like. No, really, because you recently joined BBTT. You're a proud member of the Business and Industry Association. That just happened like last week, right? So, I'm curious about that, but I do want to ask the more general question. Like, you two, right, have a really good pulse on what young people are thinking, what the business community is thinking, and these opportunities that exist in the trades world and the manufacturing world. I feel like so many things, it's been like gradual and then all at once, right? Gradual and all at once. Micro has been banging this drum for years. Mm-hmm. We overlook the trades. We overlook the opportunities that are there. Now I feel like it's completely in vogue, which is good, right? You've been banging this drum for years. Mm-hmm. Have you two seen any kind of sea change? Like, do you see the business community or young people thinking differently about trades careers or any of the things that those entail?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of momentum around an understanding that New Hampshire is a state of innovation, creativity, making things, and that's part of a national movement that's taken off in the last few years, and understanding that reindustrializing parts of our economy is really important for our national security, for prosperity, for growth. And I think what has happened is there's been an awareness of like, wow, there's a lot that's been happening in New Hampshire that we weren't aware of. And I'm a beneficiary of this in my role being the State Manufacturing Association. I get to go around the state and visit all these manufacturing facilities that the light bulb moment for me was how often I've driven by some of these facilities in a previous life, and I thought it was like a warehouse.
Right.
But they're making, microchips or components that are going in aircraft, just the most high-tech of high-tech things. Mm-hmm. And then you get to understand all of the tradespeople that support that manufacturer's ability to exist and grow in that space, and how manufacturing at the core of our economy spins off so much activity, so much growth, so much prosperity, because we're making, designing, research, and developing a product, a technology that we're exporting somewhere else, and all of that economic activity, the benefit stays here. And so there's been this awakening, I think, over the past few years that this is a big part of our future, not only as a country, but as a region and as a state. And we've dove into this a little bit as an organization and have done some benchmarking on our competitiveness. And some of the statistics really bear out that we punch way above our weight, more so than we have ever given ourselves credit for, that New Hampshire is near the top 10 in state innovation rankings. We've been in the top 15 of advanced industry growth over the last 5 years. We've been in the top 15 of technology sector growth over the last 5 years. And I always say when I'm out talking to groups, is like, if I were to poll 100 people on the street and said, what do you think New Hampshire ranks in innovation? What do you think New Hampshire ranks across the 50 states for advanced industry growth? How many people would say top 10, top 15? I think they would probably say middle of the pack at best, maybe worse, when they're thinking of kind of maybe the stereotypes or the generalizations they think of our state. So this gets to this challenge that I think we're talking about, where there are the seeds of real opportunity here, but we've got to get better as storytellers and in creating a narrative around this movement.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversations happening around students in high school not being able to see themselves, or people in their 20s being able to see themselves having a future here in New Hampshire because of housing or job, career paths, et cetera. So I do agree those stories need to be told, because people need to see that we are an innovative state. There are interesting things happening here. One of the statistics that I learned over the past year that scared me the most was hearing that we are #1 in the nation for kids graduating high school and going to college somewhere else. And I don't know about coming back, but they're leaving. #1, that's not what you want to be #1 for. And I think that those kids need to see that there are opportunities here. We've got an aging workforce. We're going to retire eventually. We need people to fill our shoes, and we need to start mentoring them and take that time. You are always saying, give them a chance. Take the time to mentor the next one in line and help pull them up.
Well, I say give them a chance, because if you want applause, go ahead.
Every time she speaks.
Yeah. I always say give a kid a chance, because, I talk to a lot of people out there, there's apprentice jobs open. They want to get the person that's going to be the journeyman. They can go right into the job and make the money. And I understand, I'm a small business owner myself. It's hard to take the time to train a kid. But I always say, well, how long have you been waiting for that person to come through the door? 3, 4 years? I started my company when I was 19 years old, and my backing was I went into it when I was 15 years old, started working, on the side. My boss gave me some, the keys, like, hey, you look motivated, try and do some stuff for yourself. So I started working. Then he's like, hey, I think you're ready. So what I'm saying is, if you're waiting and waiting and waiting for that kid to come around, he might not come around. So give him a chance. And that's why we always say, there's room for everybody out there. So just give him a chance and teach him something.
I want to share something that Julie Chazelle, who's the president of the Greater Monadnock Collaborative, the chamber over in the Monadnock region, shared with me. She shared a TikTok profile with me, and there's a gentleman, I think his name's Cody, I don't remember his full handle, so don't quote me, but he has a whole TikTok about his life working in the trades. I think he is in paving, actually, but he posts reels of his blue collar outfit of the day, and it's so cool and cute and awesome. He posted a video of him and his wife and their newborn baby on a Monday at the beach, and what is most incredible, I think, about his profile and the other profiles like his is that the comment sections are incredible. This is what rich looks like. And it's a different type of value, I think, and I think that's what we're seeing in the trades, and the interest in a different model than maybe what you grew up thinking, and it really looks like seeing yourself reflected in somebody else's journey, and so we can't undervalue storytelling and visually storytelling too. And I mean, he's blown up. He's awesome. So.
Yeah, there's actually a guy right over in Somersworth, or one of the nearby towns over there, Kenco Plumbing, Leon, for those of you who weren't at Gillette, he told his story, and he's a plumber, and he use his Instagram to share his story, show his work, and he got the attention of Milwaukee Tool. Milwaukee Tool sends him tools to demonstrate and show his tools because he's just doing his job and he enjoys sharing it and teaching others how to use his tools and how to fix things.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, we talk about trades, and most people, like when I talk to a mom or dad, they'll come and ask me, what trade their kid would be in. And I always say, it's not, when we talk about the trades, we're always thinking of using the actual tool. There is so many jobs that go into the actual job. When I say the person that's doing the job needs the HR department, they need the truck driver, they need the estimator, they need so many jobs that are behind the actual person doing the work. So we don't want to think of trades as just the actual labor, because there's so many jobs behind that people are skilled to do as well.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're always talking about the trades in college also, because we want to make sure people know we are here because we want to advocate for you to find the best path forward for you. That may include college, that may not include college, that may include going directly into the workforce and then going back to college later if you want to learn certain skills that you need a college degree for. But it's about finding the path that's right for you and sharing the lucrative, viable careers in the trades, because there are so many of them. And we're actually doing some research, quick plug on that right now. FWWeb's helping to sponsor it, but it's going to talk about what the skills gap's going to be by trade, and we're breaking it down. So we're technically a national nonprofit, but we're going to be breaking it down at the regional and then state level, so we can say 5 years from now, construction's going to be in a world of hurt if we don't start feeding that pipeline now. And so that way we can go and get, hopefully, financing to help get more CTE programs and training for students so they can get right out of school and get into jobs and help advance their careers.
Because the number right now is, for every 5 people that retire in the trades, only 2 go back in.
We got to pump those numbers up.
The math ain't
If we
mathin'.
think our plumbers are expensive now,
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, I wanted to touch on that, right? Like plumbers. We talked about this when we were on the show. It's the butt crack,
Yep,
right?
it is. Yep.
No, seriously. You want to talk about changing the story,
Stigma.
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yep.
Change the story.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
It's all.
you never know with Andy.
You can tell. Look in Mike's eyes. He's gonna tell you.
He's very stoic. You're
It's,
right.
it's all in the eyes and the butt crack. That's right. You can divine the future. But with sincerity, to change the story
Yes.
of possibility and what people can see in their lives in a particular state or a particular career path, right? Like the trades is so cool because it's like, it's literal, right? It's not abstract. It's not like, the benefit of like getting and I'm a big liberal arts person, but it's like for young people who, aren't so good or they're struggling to navigate the world, it's concrete, literally, right? It's like you can build something, you can build a house, you can figure out how to manifest your future with your own hands, right? And so it's like getting away from, the plumber, like that's what those guys do. Like friends of mine, right? I went to Londonderry High, graduated in 2013. I got friends of mine, they went into the trade, like they're just crushing it now. They're crushing it. I see that. They're on Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, Mikey became a plumber. And they're like, it's awesome. And so, changing the story of what's possible here and what's possible in the career paths, like this is a big part of your work, right? And so I kind of want to pick your brain, like people leave, but they also come back, the boomerangers, right? Tell us more about that story. Like why do people come back to New Hampshire, right? And, how can we make them stay?
It's a $1,000 question right there, $1 million question right there.
Well, you just did a bunch of great research on this, right?
Yes,
And you revealed the results.
another shameless plug. We just launched our quality of life survey data, which captures the attitudes and perceptions of young people living in New Hampshire today. So it's surveying. We surveyed 517 young people between the ages of 18 and 40. And so what this data tells us is exactly that. Why are you staying in New Hampshire? What are the risk factors or the pain points that are going to potentially force you to leave or encourage you to leave? And that gives us a blueprint on how we can navigate moving forward and also mitigate some of those risk factors. And because it's Granite Goodness and we're talking about optimism, I won't harp on the pain points. I'll shout them out real quickly.
We know the pain points.
Housing affordability and the housing crisis, but also childcare and healthcare and mental health support and the intangibles that we take for granted every day and that I think we really need to build narratives around and empathy around is like dating and social life for young people in New Hampshire. It's a challenge. We see, I'm in the field a lot, and I talk to a lot of young people. I'm really lucky to do that. But I also hear a lot of the horror stories too. I know people that are commuting from the North Country to Boston for dating. I don't know how we move the needle on that. I haven't cracked the code, but I do think there's something in that where we need to cultivate more third spaces, have more things like this, where you're meeting like-minded people in nice, neutral spaces. All right, that's the last pain point I'll talk about.
Tell the ladies to come to the Skills Expo on
That's it.
April 18th
Perfect.
in Londonderry. Lots of men in the
Amazing.
trades.
Love that. Oh, great. I did have a conversation about where the single men are. I did not prompt it. I'm
And they have
married, but
jobs.
there you go. Amazing. We have a partnership here. It's already good. Love that.
Take it easy there.
We'll navigate that cautiously.
Helping a girl out.
But yeah, I think social life is a big one.
I had a couple friends come down to Gillette to volunteer just because they wanted to try to meet some of the men in the trades. I told them that. I was like, they want to volunteer because they want to meet men in the trades because they know they have jobs.
So, how did they do?
Yeah, how did they do?
They're still single, but they're optimistic.
Exactly. But
Were
that's
there
such a
any
risk
bites?
factor.
Were there any fault, like any good leads?
I have to have some more one-on-one time with them to find
they in the
out
back?
if they've gotten any numbers or what.
Poor Mike at the end of the couch.
Yeah. They're in the green room. We'll bring them out after.
Yeah.
But it is such a risk factor too. Like if you are commuting to meet people, if you meet somebody at Gillette Stadium at the big Bring Back the Trades, conference, you might end up staying there because your partner is there. And so it is an opportunity for us to help kind of stop that leakage and really cultivate community with our young people right here in New Hampshire.
We'll have to add that to the next one, won't we?
Speed dating.
Speed dating at the Skills Expo.
Learn a trade and get a date.
I love
Problem
it.
solving.
Stay, work, play, collaboration.
I'm sure there's stories like that. You just got to find the success. I guarantee. You're going to do research on that. You're going to say, "Hey,
Maybe.
FW Web, you know how you're giving us all this money to do this groundbreaking?
I want that done by noontime tomorrow.
This is what I want to kill them.
There's another question we want to do polling on. But people come back to New Hampshire.
Yes.
Why did they come back?
Thank you for circling me back on that. I think it looks different for everybody. I can share my story, and because I think it's very reflective of other stories that I've heard of. I grew up in Bedford. I went through Bedford High School, second graduating class. Very proud to be a Bulldog. I have a fellow Bulldog behind the camera tonight here. Shout out Morgan. But I left for college because I just never thought that New Hampshire was even in the cards for me, or that for some reason my growth would be stunted, or I couldn't have a career if I lived in New Hampshire, or even if I went to one of our schools, it would be an extension of high school. And so I didn't even apply to a school in New Hampshire. I went away and had a great experience. But when I was looking at where I wanted to start my career, I went to New York City because I was like, that's the only place to start your career. And I was there for 5 days, 5 whole days. When you know, you know. When you know, you know. Don't be afraid to uproot yourself and move home. Shout out to my mom for taking me back. Thank you. But I came home, and my mom took me to the Currier Museum of Art, which is right in town here in Manchester, and there was an incredible photography exhibition on display, and I'm getting goosebumps because I remember that moment where I was like, oh my God, New Hampshire is super cool. I love this museum. I have so much access, and it's right in my backyard. I wonder if I can start my career here and kind of see where I want to go. So for me, the story was like a cultural hub, but when I kind of plugged back into the New Hampshire community, I also was reminded that New Hampshire has so much natural beauty and splendor. I can drive 5 miles in one direction and get lost in the woods. And that's something I like to do, but from our survey respondents...
And you can meet someone out there.
Yeah, exactly. You can be anyone out there. What is it? If a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it?
Yeah.
Is that the saying? I don't know.
100%.
Who am I in the forest? But it is reflective of what we're seeing in the data, which young people recognize what New Hampshire has to offer them in terms of quality of life, and that is like it is a different pace. It's broad horizons, but it's also the connection to nature. It's the connection to outdoor recreation. Shout out Janelle Lawton, who is here with us tonight. And it's the ability to kind of play at your own level and be a big fish in a small pond, I think.
Perfectly said.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
really well said. And what I would only add to that is we just can't take that for granted.
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal. There are believe me, we've done the research. There are other states out there who are trying to figure out, how do we get people to want to live here?
Yeah.
We've got that part figured out.
Yeah.
People want to live here. Once they become aware of the quality of life, the opportunity, our challenge is, the awareness, and then, we're not going to dig too deep into it, but the challenge is the affordability, the access that allows people to live here and thrive here. And I would say the optimistic view on those issues is that they're all eminently solvable through policy.
Yeah.
The solutions are out there. We've just got to get them done.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I always say this, like, the Granite Goodness goggles, so to speak, right? Really, I should have brought my goggles. I have an eye patch I could have brought out here. We're not here to deny that the problems exist, right? We know. We got that part down. But what are we doing about it? And that is what there's an abundance of. That's the story that you're all here telling, that I'm trying to weave together, right? Like, and I could go on and on and on. I do want to take this moment, because the issues we're talking about, there's a really cool example of this. So we are joined here tonight by a very cool guy. His name's Troy Farkas, and he runs an amazing podcast based in the Seacoast called Seacoast Stories. And you should check it out. He's not just plugging it because I love it. But he has a really cool story, and he's a really experienced podcaster. He moved here, and he's like found community, and his show is all about like how do we bring people together and build community. And he, speaking of dating, he did this awesome event a little while ago where he did like come and auction off or pitch like your friends, and he made a whole thing out of it, right? And like people showed up, and it was so cool. So like we have really cool examples of people not from here moving here and just finding an abundance of community and channeling it and being really creative. And Troy to me is like one of the great success stories of like young, interesting, ambitious, really smart young people who move here and just like make a really cool life. So thank you for being here, Troy from Seacoast Stories. We love what you're doing. We're glad to have you in the Granite State. We really are. We need you. We need you here. But I want to also touch on, so not only are you two in the Business and Industry Association, which is a very cool thing, but you, he's the eyes. He's like, where's he going? Where's he going? No more butt cracks.
Not yet.
Not yet. That comes
Save
later.
that for the end.
Yeah. But you two are in this really cool thing called the New Hampshire Housing Supply Coalition, right? You're the spearhead of it. Stay Work plays in it. It's this gigantic, beautiful umbrella of organizations. And I want to hear us talk about that for a little bit. And note, it's called the New Hampshire Housing Supply Coalition. It's not the New Hampshire We Hate Landlords Coalition. It's not the New Hampshire We Love Giant Textbooks of Overwhelming Local Zoning Coalition. It's the New Hampshire Housing Supply Coalition, right? Tell us that story, and why do you feel like, why is Stay Work Play involved in that? Because this is a really cool, like people don't even know about it. And you had a great year this year in the legislature. You got a lot done.
Sure. I'm going to have to like constrain myself to not go on the full YIMBY rant. But very excited about this issue, and we've got a big challenge when it comes to housing affordability and supply in New Hampshire, but we are making progress. And I feel the wind is at our back in terms of the issues, the support, and the momentum. But the genesis of the Housing Supply Coalition is last year around this time, there were a bunch of organizations who were all advocacy organizations working on pro-housing policy. And we all got together in a room at the BIA in our conference room, and we started talking about, hey, you're pursuing these 5 bills, you're doing these 5 bills. Like, can we just all like get on the same page and let's come up with 5 things we agree on and then get everybody to sign on in support. And it worked. We now have more than 30 organizations signed on, adding more every day. business organizations, chambers of commerce, AARP, unions. I mean, this is a really unique coalition of organizations that have come together around a very simple message that we need more housing supply in New Hampshire. That's where it starts. We know we need all sorts of different types of housing, but we need more housing supply. And look, I'm a policy guy. That's what I do for a living. I lobby at the State House. That's been the majority of my career. So I think in these terms. And when I think about what is the single most impactful lever we could pull in our state to create more growth, more prosperity, more economic vitality, more health, it would be to build more housing of all types everywhere across the state. And we can do it. The solutions are there. And the reason I know that is because they're happening all over the country. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's just a matter of implementing smart growth policies that are going to allow for more housing to be built. And I am fully convinced, because we have this debate every day, this is totally achievable without losing anything with what makes New Hampshire special. That is just not in the cards. It has been done, it can be done, it is being done. So that's what the Housing Supply Coalition is all about. I'm going to cut it off there and throw it to Corinne before I go too much further over the edge. But it's an exciting time. And I think I would say whether you're part of an organization or as an individual, everyone can play a role in this. And it really is the defining issue, I think, for New Hampshire for the next couple of decades in terms of allowing us to grow and thrive, is getting this housing issue right. And it's to our benefit, because if we do get it right, we're going to beat all the other states around us. We're going to be the beneficiary of it economically and from a growth perspective. So we have this really unique opportunity to not only do the right thing, but to really supercharge our growth as a state.
Any chance to defeat Massachusetts?
But can I piggyback off of that?
Well, who's going to build the houses, Steve?
Exactly.
Who's
So
gonna build
if
them?
you succeed, we have to succeed, because we have to supply the labor and to build the houses. So we all have to work here, because in order for him to succeed, we all have to succeed.
And to feed the trades, we have to succeed because we need to keep the young people here.
Exactly.
This is beautiful. I just want to very quickly piggyback off what Mike said about the economic vitality having ripple effects throughout our communities in New Hampshire. This is not a one generation issue. This is an intergenerational issue, and I think what we're seeing, especially on the housing front, is a little bit of fear of that rub between the quality of life that so many people have enjoyed in New Hampshire. And I can understand that. We all understand why we've all chosen to live in New Hampshire for a certain reason, and change can be scary. But I think to true New Hampshire form and fashion, we can attack the housing crisis in a way that is New Hampshire focused, New Hampshire forward. We're contrarian, man. We don't do things like Massachusetts, and that's beautiful. And I think we can do that. We just need forward action, and that's why the Housing Supply Coalition is so important, because we're looking 10 years, 20 years ahead and building back what we would like to see in the housing space in New Hampshire, what we need in the housing space, both with a balance of supply, but also the preservation of that quality of life that we all enjoy. And so, we're definitely seeing momentum, and it's, credit to the BIA and their leadership at the State House, significantly, moving this needle forward and bringing along varied, nonprofits and organizations to the table, because you need every voice at the table in order to find the best solution forward. And the BIA knows that so intrinsically. And so I think that's why we're seeing so much success. And so just wanted to shout out that intergenerational empathy is really important. And also support for the future is really important too. We have to be a part of that.
And another thing we're trying to do is, when I started doing this and Shani came on, we realized there was a lot of people out there doing the same thing we're doing. So we're stronger as a team versus in silos. So we're trying to get more people involved to work with us so that we can be a bigger team, so we can educate more people.
Yeah, and we should give a shout out to Kate Godet. Now it's Corbus? Yes, who is part of
Congratulations.
UNH 4-H, and she is spearheading the Grit to Grow collaborative, which is industry, civic, and educational leaders all getting together to work on helping the workforce, development from it's early workforce development, so people can see where the internships are, where the apprenticeships are, where the part-time jobs are, so you can get your foot in the door and find those future mentors.
I think that Kate was on a podcast about
Yes, she
problem
was
solving and
great.
optimism around New Hampshire, I believe. No way.
Ooh, that's right. She brought a tradesperson from Wisconsin to New Hampshire, for those who didn't hear,
Oh my gosh, excellent.
her husband.
That's a stupid self-referential
See,
joke.
he followed you because you guys were dating.
That's right. Single people, you have a responsibility.
Good
You have
job,
to bring
Kate.
them here. That's right.
She needs to teach others how to do the same, right? How to recruit to New Hampshire.
That'd be a good. Like they have a master
Future
gardener
podcast.
hotline. Yeah. I mean, Extension is an amazing resource. We could have a whole thing about that. But my favorite thing about UNH Extension, they have the Master Gardener program. They have a hotline you can call like anytime during business hours. I think. Yeah, within 24 hours or 48 hours, like you will get an answer on whatever gardening question.
What?
I don't know what happens if you ask dating questions, but I suspect they would give you an answer. They
Join a
would-
gardening club.
Yeah, they would love that. Like, they are the most wonderful group of people. Okay, the time has flown by. Speaking of bringing in other voices,
Are we
will-
done?
No. We should do some Q&A.
Oh.
We should do some Q&A. So I think we have a mic runner out there somewhere. Warren, there he is. If folks have questions, this is the time. This is the time. Put your hands up. Troy Farkas has got his hand up here.
Test it.
Also, thank you to the Rex and Warren and
Oh,
Lisa
yeah.
and the entire team. You guys
Yeah,
are
let's give
incredible.
him a round of applause. This is so fun.
Great job, Andy. Thank you for the shout out. Question for Corinne, and just Corinne. I'm dying to know why you had to leave New York City after 5 days and had to come back to New Hampshire.
All right. How do I answer this? I love my dog so much. Chewy. He's 12 years old. He's a big, fluffy, golden chow mix. He's the love of my life. I brought him from Savannah, Georgia. If you've ever been to Savannah, Georgia, it's the most quaint, beautiful, walkable town, like green spaces everywhere. Lovely. And then I moved to Brooklyn. Sight unseen. Stupid or brave, I don't know. We haven't figured it out yet, but Chewy didn't like it. There wasn't enough green space. There wasn't enough green space in my neighborhood. I couldn't walk my dog. And that is why I left, is because I wanted to give a better life to my dog. It's like kind of embarrassing, but
It's all for Chewy.
it's all for
Good job, Chewy.
All in the eyes.
He's still going strong.
All right. Anton, hey, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming. And I had a question for Mike, because you mentioned you're a policy person, and there are a lot of policies right now that are helping New Hampshire retain people. I was very curious, what kind of policies do you know of that are in the works, or maybe are already working, that help people with the cost of living and relatively low wages?
Well, we are at the point right now where the next legislative session is starting, ramping up soon. I think there have been 1,058 pieces of legislation filed for next year. So right now we can see what the titles are, but we don't know what the details are. So I expect that there's going to be a lot this year on housing affordability. Childcare, I think, is an issue where there's going to be some significant momentum and action. In terms of other issues around affordability, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of action and proposals out there. What we don't know at this point is kind of what's possible. And part of, in the policy space that's difficult, is there are great ideas, but you have to take stock of what's the political environment and what's achievable, what's the art of the possible for the year ahead. It's an election year, which means everyone's going to lose their goddamn minds up in Concord. No one's going to think straight. And it's going to be hard to get a lot of stuff done. But I think there's still an opportunity for there to be a lot of good policies to get over the finish line. It's going to be finding kind of what's possible. What I would honestly recommend, and this is something I want to plug as part of our conversation here about what's good about our state, what's optimistic about our state. You know, we have this crazy system in New Hampshire, a citizen legislature, where we have, you know, the third largest parliamentary body in the world as our legislature. And listen, it has its flaws. But I would say, as someone who has worked in this space for the entirety of my career, I wouldn't take any other system over ours. And the reason is that the power resides with all of you, with people. Every single bill that gets introduced in New Hampshire gets a hearing and gets a vote. That doesn't happen in other states. A few people, sometimes only one or two, decide what issues get heard and what issues get voted on. And so every person, every organization has the opportunity to go, advocate, and talk about the issues that you care about. The single most important thing you can do is make sure you know who your state reps are. You know, there's a saying in Concord in politics, like 3 phone calls to your state rep is a mandate from the people. So it just takes a few of you to get together and start bugging your state reps and state senators over what you care about and what you're concerned about, and they're going to start to listen. Because it doesn't take that many more of you to get them elected or unelected, given how many people we have in our state house. So a lot more to come. It's going to be a busy year, but I guess my biggest piece of advice is, like, use the uniqueness of our system and get involved. There's a lot of great organizations doing great work in Concord. It's a very open, accessible system. I'm grateful for that, even though it is chaotic, and it leads to a lot of strange outcomes sometimes and some really weird bills that get introduced every year. But I wouldn't take it over anything else, and it gives us a stake in the future and kind of what's going to happen here in our state.
Quick question from someone in the younger generation living in New Hampshire. I'm curious to know, what is the best piece of advice that was given to you as you were building your career?
I'll go first. I graduated from, I was born in Manchester, school-age years in Massachusetts, came back to go to St. Anselm, where I studied politics, graduated, and then launched my career here. Got into chamber work, Chamber of Commerce work, which really has totally shaped and transformed my life and what I love to do. And that got me in the room with all of these people that I did not belong to be in the room with in my early 20s. CEOs, business leaders, nonprofit leaders. And I got a lot of great advice along the way. But there's one that has stuck with me through all the years, a gentleman by the name of Gary Long. He used to run public service of New Hampshire. He's unfortunately no longer with us and passed away, but he's an amazing business leader here in New Hampshire. But he gave me a piece of advice early on that it's really stuck with me about when you're trying to figure out what you want to do, when you're trying to figure out what type of roles to take, what type of assignments or jobs to take, is take the really difficult and sometimes controversial ones. Those are the ones where you learn, where you grow, where you're tested, where you learn something about yourself. And it takes sometimes a risk to take on, like, that sounds like a really tough assignment, and maybe people aren't going to like me, or I'm going to be working on a difficult issue that's controversial. But that's the stuff where I think we grow as individuals. And there's no better time to do that than when you're younger. And when you're at that stage in your career where you can take that risk and really use that as a growing experience. So that's one that really resonated with me, and I think of Gary a lot about that advice and what it meant to me.
Woo. Well, I will say my advice came a little late after I started my company, because I started my company when I was 19 years old, right out of high school. So, I wasn't a very good student. I was a really good worker, and I always tell people now that want to start their careers that are really good employees, go take a business class. It's so important. You can be the best employee in the world, but if you don't know how to run a company, it's not going to work out well. So my best advice to myself was, you know, I think 10 or 15 years into it, yes, I was very successful of you know, working and building the business, but I didn't know how to do the actual billing correctly, invoicing correctly, charging the customer right. So I sat down with a friend of mine that had been in business a long time and said, Steve, this is how you do it. It's going to be painful because you got to change how you bill. You've been billing this way, you got to bill this way. So I would say the best advice I got was too late, but I mean, not too late, but into my career. But I always tell kids now that come to me that say, you know, I want to be a business owner, go take a business class because it's so important.
I think the best advice that I ever got has been when people have said, ask the questions. You probably have the same questions that everybody else has, but everybody's afraid to ask the question. So just speak up, just ask, it's okay. But I also, like throughout my career, I think what I've learned about myself is that I'm a generalist, and so I need to surround myself with people who are specialists, and so that way I have a network of people who can help me where I'm weaker. And I think that if you're a specialist, it's important to surround yourself with other people who are different than you as well, so that way you are also balancing out your strengths and weaknesses with a team, ideally.
That's beautiful. I have like 3 answers. They're not long, don't worry. I think, you know, one is like lean into your confidence. No one knows you're scared but you. Fake it till you make it. Bullshit if you need to. But if you start developing your confidence muscle, it will come more naturally to you, and you will then be able to kind of like level up in your career, whatever that means for you. But I think that was like an aha moment for me. I was like, oh my God, no one knows but me? Oh yeah, okay, cool. I can like now fully like feel like I can navigate without the idea that imposter syndrome that kind of comes in like in your early career, I think, which is natural. But Mike said something to me. I perceived like a big failure, a big flop. Like I like let him down. I don't even know what it was. Can't even remember. Couldn't remember because it wasn't that big of a deal. Mike was like, "It's okay to fail. You learned something, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I did. Thank you." So like also having grace with yourself, like as you're moving through your career, I think is really important. The last one is get involved, especially in New Hampshire. If you're a young person that's like wants to get involved, wants to volunteer, like wants to be out there and wants to make a difference, A, you can do it. B, you are going to be elected to a million other ways to get involved. You're going to be like the go-to person, and also start building your network that, as Shauna mentioned, is so important.
Love all that. I would just say,
question.
yeah, no, it is a good question. It's good. Thank you, Dana. Ask for help. Ask for help. Assume that most people are nice and they want to help you, because it's true. And you know, for every 100 people that you ask for help, maybe there will be 5 who will be dicks, but the rest they're out there, you know. But most people are pretty nice, and you'll be shocked at what people will do for you. You won't believe it, but you have to ask. All right.
Thank you.
It's so nice to be able to see people's faces now.
Yeah, hello. You're also pretty.
Hi there. This is a little nerve-wracking for
Hey,
me.
Reese. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Andy. So I actually met Andy at my best friend's college graduation, and she's right here. She's visiting from Florida, so she invited me.
My sister.
Yeah, so I'm a young entrepreneur. I just got into real estate. This is my first year. I'm 21 years old. And I just wanted to ask, like, what habits contributed most to your success throughout your career?
Can I start? It's not waking up at 4 a.m. Like, let's just like put that to bed. Maybe it is for you. It's not for me. It's not for me. I think it's. I think it's what Andy said. It's asking for help and also recognizing who your mentors are, and asking for help and also like perspective too. Like sometimes you're too close to an issue and you might be interpreting it different than somebody else would be, and so taking a step back and asking for perspective and assistance.
I would say don't worry about failing. I've learned more from my mistakes than I have from my success. I mean, I've succeeded, but I've failed more times than I've succeeded. So don't worry about failing, because you'll learn from your failure.
Yeah. So I was kind of thinking about what you were saying before with, like the imposter syndrome, and it's like everybody's insecure. We don't like sitting up here in a hot seat. It's scary. We're sweating. It's okay. You get through it, and you make yourself stronger and better, and you grow and you learn and you figure out what those failures were and you get better. And I think one of the things that I learned also is just come in, do the job to the best of your ability, even if you don't like it or you don't like the people. Like, things will come of it. As long as you're learning and growing, you're going to continue to succeed. And the other thing is when I left a company, I was at Sprague Energy for almost 10 years, and I left, and I had some women reach out to me and say, I'm so sorry that you're leaving. And these are women I didn't really know, but I was championing starting a women's network. I was part of the innovation team. I was on the safety team. I like to get involved, right? So you never know who else is looking up to you and watching what you're doing and the roads and paths that you're creating for others behind you. So I think as somebody, I'm one of 7 kids. I'm the second oldest, so I'm a little bossy, and I, make my own roads sometimes.
A little bossy?
A lot of bossy. But I like to get shit done. So, but you have to turn around and hope that you're helping other people, and then, like I said earlier, bring those people along with you. And because what I find that I'm most proud of is when I look and I see the people who I've mentored and how, to your point earlier, how successful they are now without me. And I love that, and I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, 2 things. It's some of them have already been touched on. Find some mentors, ask for advice, and people are, particularly here, I think people are so generous with that. And like, mentorship isn't like this formal thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's like, if there's someone that you respect, that you admire, that you see them doing good, ask them for coffee and say, hey, can I just ask you about how you figured out what you've done? What some of the same questions we've been asking each other up here. What are your advice, habits? What was that like? What did you learn from that? And there's so much you're going to learn from those conversations, and do that as much as can. The other one that I would say that it took me a while to figure out, but I really think is like a superpower, and it's master the ability of being objective analysis. If you can be the person in the room in a conversation, in a meeting, when there's a bunch of people talking and trying to figure something out, and you know what you think, but you can go around and understand, I don't agree with that person, but I know where they're coming from. I can understand why they think the way they think. That is a superpower that is going to serve you in so many different ways, and it's the quickest way to finding something you agree upon and figuring out progress.
And I think most people, if you ask them for help, they'll be honored to help you.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. Real quick, I would just say mentor downward, right? Not just in terms of age, but experience. Like, you might think, oh, I'm 21, I'm at the beginning of my career, I don't know how to help anybody. Totally wrong. There are so many things that you know that people younger than you, or curious about what you already know, or the life that you've lived, or all these things. Like, you can help people younger than you or less experienced than you. And I would really encourage you to do it, because I can't give you endless examples of people in my life who, I would think, I'm not going to be useful to this person, and then you are in some way, just because you make it clear that you're available to help them. And it's like an enlightened self-interest. It's nice. It's a kind thing to do. It feels good. But you also don't know, they could come back and do some remarkable thing for you. And it often works out that way. So mentor downward. Seek mentors upward and mentor downward. All right, we're going to take one more question.
Thank you.
You would ask.
Oh, indeed. Andy,
Hey.
I love you.
Oh, that's my step-on. How you doing?
You're hot. You speak hard. I'm grateful to get this question, but I'm a veteran, and I've felt your heartfelt speak to this night, but we need help in the veterans community. So, I'm grateful for your heartfelt. And my friend Elaine does girls' work, and you're there, so her. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for your service, too.
All right.
Warren, we had a question up here, too.
Yeah, we got one up at the front here. I think we can squeeze it in.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, Krista. Krista and I used to be RAs together.
Yes.
That must have been fun.
Oh, it was fun.
Imagine
Krista,
Andy as an RA.
Can you be the
terrible.
best RA?
No, I
would've
was
liked
not.
my RA if it was
Krista
Andy.
was a fantastic RA.
You get away with
I
everything.
did the bulletin boards, and Andy could do the walking around and talking to people. So we were a good tag team on Hubbard Floor 3.
That's right.
So as a daughter of a tradesman who saw my dad leave at 7 a.m. in the morning and not come back until 8 p.m. at night, and Corinne, as someone who can speak to kind of the goals and the hopes that young people have in the workplace, which is very much that work-life balance, I'd love to see your perspective on how that balance may be coming more to fruition for the next generation.
That's a good question.
I think I'll answer that as best as I can because I don't know all the trades, but I think times are changing. I think the culture has totally changed in the trades. It's more about, family time, making sure mental health is very important. I think the trades, like my father worked at a Diaphragm Industries, and it was a totally, a different job back than it is today. I think that the employers really realize that without their workforce, they can't produce. So I think it's a totally different era. I mean, I'm sure Mike can reach out, can answer that question as well. But I just think the culture is totally different. I know, I have a small business myself, and I realize without my employees, I can't work. So it's very important for them to be taken care of. So, Mike, you want to?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think what I observe, and this is across all different industry sectors, is employers that are invested in their future and want to see their company grow understand that their most precious resource is their workforce and their employees. And I think they are being very creative nowadays in work-life balance, schedules, benefits. How do we make sure that our workforce is valued and important, especially when we as a state need to preserve and ensure that we have workforce here. We have we don't have enough workers. So I think it's an issue where the culture is moving. I think there's a lot of great resources and storytelling and examples happening in the business community where employers are learning from one another. And, I hope that employees and leaders within organizations can kind of mirror and elevate those practices internally, and it just kind of keeps multiplying on itself. So we got a ways to go always, but I think we're on the right track, and I think there's an understanding from the employer community, from the business community, that it's about results and output, and there's so many different ways to get to that, and valuing your workforce is at the core of success in that area.
And if you ever come to one of our skills expos, you can see that exact example. You get to see the actual workers with smiles on their faces because they're so happy to be there. So come to our skill expo. Our next one's April 18th at Londonderry, but we get to see, the proudest part that I get to see with our skills expos is the actual employees having a great time. Yeah. It's not the parents coming in, it is, but to watch, we see the networking. We see, the teams coming in and working together. We always tell the employers, it's a benefit to come to our skills expos because you get to show off your employees. And your employees are your most important part of your corporation.
They're all happy dating. That's why.
Yeah.
They're all flirting with each other.
We're going to have to add that.
I love it. All right, we're gonna close really quick here. Lightning round, as fast as you can answer. We're all on the island of Survivor. Who wins up here and why? And in one sentence, why are you optimistic about the future of New Hampshire? Mike, who wins?
I answer both? Okay.
Yeah, you have to.
I think
you.
Corinne wins.
I couldn't make it in New York.
But the thing in Survivor is it's the person you least expect.
Good.
So I think the handy couch here, we would be picked off pretty quickly. because they're going to be like, we got to take these guys out. So, and I think she looks like an alliance type of person who would know how to figure that out. Yeah. So I would go there. And then optimistic about the future of New Hampshire. It's kind of what we've all talked about tonight. I think, I used this word with you when we got together is interconnectedness. And I think that's a unique attribute to New Hampshire and our culture, that there's a willingness to work together, to create amazing organizations out of just the vision of a couple people who want to do great things. And that truly, just based on my travels around the country and working with peer organizations around the country, I can attest, it doesn't happen everywhere. It doesn't happen everywhere, and it doesn't happen as effectively in those places than it does here. And so I'm always going to be optimistic about New Hampshire because we have that special sauce that others don't.
All right. Jana.
So I saw this question ahead of time, and I was debating whether it was Andy or Steve, because they're both so good at networking and talking to people and getting people to kind of do good things. But since I've gotten to know Corinne, I'm kind of with you. Yeah, I think she's a little sneaky over there.
We gotta put this into practice. I'm down, thank you.
In a good way. Yeah, I'd definitely be out early. Optimistic, I think what drives me the most is making a difference or feeling like whatever I'm doing is making a difference. And I feel like in New Hampshire, there's so many people who are passionate about making a difference and seeing that needle move, whether it's housing or childcare or workforce development or bringing optimism and good stuff to the state, or sharing the stories or creating visibility. Those are the things that I'm most optimistic about. Is just there's so many good people doing so many great things, and we just need to continue to share that information.
And I have to make it 3 because I can build a fire, but that's all I can do.
Can't do that.
You can upholster. You're a hell of an upholsterer.
And I could keep running for a little while.
Oh yeah, he's like a super runner. He runs marathons.
Ultra marathons.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's so many things I want to say. I mean, first off, being a business owner since 19 years old, celebrating my 38th year this year, having so much support from being 19 to 58, through the local communities, coming up with an idea in New Hampshire and be able to sit on this stage with all these amazing people that have supported me and the crowd. It's no better place to live. I would like to a little bit warmer, so don't get me wrong, because I don't like being cold anymore. But New Hampshire is just so important to me because it's the only place I've lived as well, too. But just the support I get constantly. There isn't a day that we don't get an email from somebody that says, I want to help you. So I'm very optimistic because Bring Back the Trades, is growing every day with Shana's help. I don't even know where the end is. I don't think there is an end.
Corinne.
It's my turn? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Shana, Steve, and Mike are all awesome, and I guess, honestly, I don't even know the concept of Survivor. Like, I've never watched it.
That's why you would win.
Okay, well, it's ignorance.
Like, literally,
I
that's
just,
why
walk through.
We would be like, she's got no chance, just leave her around.
She's fine.
And then at the end, she kills us all.
Master
but,
chess
you vote
player
somebody
is
off
you,
the
right?
island, right? Like, you vote somebody off the
Can you
island.
handle
Is
bugs?
this Love Island?
There's
I
a
know
you
Love
handle
Island.
bugs?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like if people like you, you're going to stick around. Like, you're just
Okay.
very likable.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Are you kidding me? If Andy is on who would vote Andy off the island?
No.
Who would do that?
There are many ways to leave the island.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Andy's going to eat something random and be off.
Yeah.
And sick.
Oh, got it.
That's right.
Got tummy ache.
She
got
gets
him.
me. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big tummy ache.
Yeah, tummy ache got you. Okay. All right. Well, I thank you for your vote of confidence. It's the secret sauce in New Hampshire that I think it's so intangible, but we all know it. It's that collective understanding that we have all of the building blocks here in New Hampshire to level up our state in the way that I think we all feel aligned on, and the winds at our back in a lot of these issues. But I think like attracts like. New Hampshire attracts a certain type of person that cares, wants to be involved in a way that positively contributes to your community, and you just can't put a price tag on that. And I think we are all so lucky to be able to live in New Hampshire and to be amongst community with in each other's community, and be working towards some like really lofty goals that are all attainable and rooted in optimism and goodness. And I don't know, that's sappy. I'm tired, but I think ultimately, like, it's that secret sauce in New Hampshire that we all need to lean into more.
I love it. Secret sauce, sappy, sippy. That's what we're going to end with.
What is that secret
So is
sauce?
it unanimous? Do you think it's Corinne too?
Oh, absolutely not. No way.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you winning?
No, it's Mike, obviously. He's an Eagle Scout. He already has the entire island booby-trapped.
That's true.
Like, it's not even close. Come on. Easy.
Andy's the first person I'd vote out, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Biggest competition.
Yeah.
clearly my biggest threat.
Yeah.
Like, I would, yeah.
Well, I'm completely useless as a human. Like this, I'm on the right couch. Let's just say that. Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, thank you. I know. I just see this, I don't even know when people are trying to commiserate with me. Yeah, I mean, not to be sappy, but, sometimes people ask me this question. How can you be so optimistic? How can you be so optimistic? Like, folks, how can I not? Look around. Look around. Look at these people. You're all here tonight, right? Like, you're all here because you believe in telling a better story about people, our ability to cooperate and make the world a better place, to believe that better things are possible here in our little corner of it, and that we have a unique way to do that. And it means the world to me. And thank you all for coming. This has been a fantastic
Can
show.
I just say one thing, though?
Yeah.
If you want to learn more about Bring Back the Trades, go to bbtt.org.
Yes.
We do scholarships once a month throughout the school year, plus at extra events. So if you know people who are in the trades or have debt from the trades, please encourage them to apply. Very good odds to win.
That's right. Excellent. There will be a great recording of this available online. But let's give a big round of applause to the Rex Theater, to our wonderful panelists, to Sneaky Miles. Yeah. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. We can hang out here for a little bit. Hey there, thanks for spending some time with us, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. You can learn more about today's guest and how to get involved with or support their work in the show notes. If you'd like to suggest a guest for the show or have any good news story tips, shoot me a message at hello@granitegoodness.com. Music for this episode was provided by the band Sneaky Miles, who hail from Newmarket, New Hampshire. Until next time, I'm the creator and host of Granite Goodness, Andy DeMeo. Thanks for listening.